Hi guys, and welcome to the last video of the descriptive bromatology. I am Tommy, and today we're going to talk about stimulants and condiments. Let's begin. So let's start with stimulants. Xanthines are from purine derived alkaloids. If you want to know more about xanthines, I talked about them in the purine degradation, in the nucleotides degradation metabolism video. Okay, so xanthines are caffeine, threonine, and theophylline. They are derived from purines, as I said. And these are the quantities of caffeine we can have in a day. To 150 to 200 milligrams. For some people, these quantities are very high for them, but for others they are very low because they have created a tolerance to caffeine. I have to mention that tea is higher in caffeine concentration compared to coffee and cocoa, and that the thein thing doesn't exist because the xanthines are only these free. So thein in reality is caffeine. So let's start with cocoa and byproducts. Beans. We have three types: the criollo, the forastero, and the trinitario. And beans of cocoa contain cholesterol, which is something weird. We have the classification of cocoa as cocoa nibs, then cocoa mass, cocoa butter, cocoa cake, and cocoa powder. So basically from the cocoa nibs we can get the cocoa mass, and the cocoa mass can be divided into cocoa butter and cocoa cake, and with the cocoa cake we can make the powder, and if we add sugar to it, well, it's cocoa sugar powder. With cocoa we can have those beautiful chocolates: milk chocolate, hot chocolate, and white chocolate. White chocolate is made with cocoa butter because the colors of the cocoa are in the cocoa cake, which makes the cocoa powder. So white chocolate only has the cocoa butter, which is not brown. Coffee beans, they are seeds, isolated and roasted. These are the macros: fat 15%, carbs 30%, proteins 9%, and water 2%. Natural roasted, blended, instant and soluble, and decaffeinated coffees. These are all the type of coffees we can have. The most common is the roasted. Coffee beans are treated with methylene chloride, ethyl acetate, to be decaffeinated for creating decaffeinated coffee, and in some cases they use water or CO2 as a more natural way of decaffeinating coffee. Especially using water for decaffeinating coffee is less aggressive on the bean, and some people notice the difference and prefer the water treatment. All these four methods are used before roasting the bean, of course. Coffee substitutes, well, the roasted chicory, the malt, and the barley. And all of them do not contain xanthines. Then we have the tea. The tea leaves are treated and dried. We have a bunch of different teas, from green tea, which is not fermented and has less caffeine, to black tea, which is fermented and has more caffeine, decaffeinated tea, soluble tea extract, which is evaporated tea, the oolong tea between green and black, and the rooibos that has no xanthines, so no stimulants. Teas have also flavonoids with antioxidant properties. Moving on, we have the condiments and spices. Starting with salt. Salt is basically sodium chloride for food use. Table salt can have additives. There are different types of salt, starting from sea salt, and then refined salt, which is the coarse one, and table salt, which is the fine one. Indeed, this is the same, it's refined salt. And refined salt is the most common salt on the market. There are special salts such as iodized, fluorinated, iodine fluorinated, and even nitrated. This is for nitrates to preserve, for example, sausages and meats. Then we have vinegar as a condiment. These suffer the double fermentation, the alcoholic one and then the acetic one. We can have the wine vinegar, which comes from wine, only wine, and it has 5% of acetic acid. And then we have the balsamic vinegar, which is from the grape must, and it has more than 20% of sugar. But we can have also vinegar from other sources, such as the apple cider vinegar, and I'm a special fan of this one. And then we have other classifications such as sweet vinegars, semi-sweet, and aged vinegars. Spices: dried leaves or seeds used to correct the taste. This is what spices meant for. They have some characteristics like additives, as preservatives and antioxidants, but little action. So they are basically meant to change the taste, of course, but also to preserve and to have some antioxidant effect. But their action is very low compared to the additives. We have the classification we have the prepared condiments and seasoning, which is a mix of spices for a specific use, and the spice substitutes are only available for cinnamon, black or white peppers, and cloves. The other ones are not considered as spice substitutes. And as last one we have sauces, which are a mix of treated ingredients used to eat alongside food. These are the ketchup, coming from the tomato concentrate with sugar and additives, the mayonnaise, which is indeed vegetable oils and eggs, the mustard, that comes from the mustard seed with vinegar, the fried tomato, the salad dressing, the marinade, the tomato sauce, the hot curry sauce, and the hot ketchup are all the type of sauces we can have. Okay guys, so we reached the end of the series of videos of the descriptive bromatology. I hope you liked them all, and if you did, share this playlist with a friend or a family member to let them know what's inside the food we eat daily. Thank you for watching and see you soon. Hope you enjoyed.